internet is here, starting at $29.99 per month.
The only Yakima news team taking action for you. KIMA Action News.
And good evening, everyone, and thank you for staying up with us. We begin tonight in Union Gap. We're in less than a week. It's 4:20 all the time. The doors will open to our first recreational marijuana store. The owner says there was a time when he never thought it would happen, and he didn't have anything to fall back on. He has spent his life savings on this venture. Now, Samina Engel got a first-hand look at the new place and what you can expect inside, and it is our big story.
Adam Marcus has a case of the jitters.
I'm scared to death.
He's the owner of Station 420, a new pot shop set to open on Main Street in Union Gap. Next week's grand opening is 2 years in the making.
The application process has been long and difficult.
Marcus says he's jumped through hoops with the State Liquor Control Board and weathered the changing minds of city leaders, not to mention the sheer investment.
I've cashed in all my retirement accounts, I've depleted all my savings accounts, and this is the make or break moment.
That moment is next Tuesday, when customers can walk in and buy weed legally. Glass products are offered in the front, pot is in the back. Marcus already has 2 employees. He's taking applications for a handful of other positions. It all looked pretty casual, but looks can be deceiving. There'll be a security guard here at the front door to the store checking IDs. IDs will be checked again at the point of purchase. Then there's the security cameras. 16 in total, plus bars on the window. As for the pot, it's still with the supplier. There's been concerns the supply won't be there. Growers only got their okays shortly before the stores were allowed to open. Marcus says he'll stock his merchandise at the last minute for security reasons.
The supply is a huge issue. And we have several contingency plans in place, but even those could go south quickly.
I wondered what Marcus's future neighbors think about all this. Juan Hernandez works at Trio Cuts, a barber shop next door.
I think it's really going to help Union Gap, money-wise and everything, because it's just going to get more people down here.
A prediction that has Marcus crossing his fingers. In Union Gap, Samina Engel, Action News.
Now, Marcus says his pot is going to cost roughly $17 to $25 a gram, and according to him, that's about 2 to 3 times what you would pay on the black market. Well, county commissioners have signed off on a new labor agreement with the Yakima County Sheriff's Office. Finally, deputies have been working without a contract for 4 years. This will provide a 6.5% pay raise for the deputies over the next 3 years. Those deputies have not reviewed or signed off on the contract yet. They say it's still too early to tell what other benefits would come from the deal. And a former Sealer administrator is going to have to pay for destroying city records. A Yakima County Superior Court judge ordered Frank Sweet to pay more than $65,000 in restitution. Sweet was convicted in January of destroying official documents right before he left office in 2012, making it difficult for anyone to get back on track. He is going to make monthly payments of $750. And dangerous fire conditions prompted the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to impose a burn ban at its Mid-Columbia area refuges. The ban applies to the Toppenish National Wildlife Refuge as well as the Hanford Reach National Monument. All fires are prohibited, including cooking stoves. The ban also includes smoking outside any vehicle or using any motor without a spark arrestor.
All right, a pretty quiet evening. Very mild still, temperatures in the 60s, even a few 70s out there. We're going to call for a few clouds to continue overnight, but tomorrow those clouds move out quickly and will be replaced by a sunny afternoon. A little bit of a breeze at times, not as hot, maybe a degree or 2 cooler heading into Thursday afternoon, but boy, it's sure looking nice. And that's setting us up for the long 4th of July holiday weekend. How are the temps shaping up? I'll have the details for you coming up in your full storm tracker forecast in just a few moments. Terry, back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you. Well, a popular recreation area near Cliffdale is going to be closed for improvement starting next week. Boulder Cave Day Use Site is going to be closed starting Monday through the end of the year. A federal highway grant is paying for the work. That includes adding new tables and benches, a new water system, and better parking. Boulder Cave will reopen next spring. And Yakima City Council plans to try again after a mistake during a vote last night. It killed a proposal that has been in the works for months. The ordinance would charge new fees for home construction and utility work. And after the vote, a council member who voted no said she made a mistake. Now, Ada Chong learns what happens now.
Yakima City Council voted against an ordinance that would require private and public contractors and utilities to pay a fee for tearing up streets during their work. The money would be used to restore the streets before any damage was done.
Our roads are critical to the community, but even more so to our economy. If we all work together, we can better protect and preserve that.
Kelly Coons is a contractor and the president of the Central Washington Home Builders Association. Coons is glad the ordinance failed.
How relieved are you about that?
Well, greatly relieved, other than the fact that it may go back to a vote there.
Yes, it might come up for a vote again. That's because council member Maureen Atkinson indicated she accidentally voted no. Now it would be brought to city council in 2 weeks. Coons says any fees generated by the ordinance would be passed on to customers.
Ultimately, it falls on the public. The public always ends up paying in the end. You know, they're going to be through higher fees, higher utility fees, higher costs on homes.
Someone has to bear the cost of damaging our roads, and we don't think it solely should be on the backs of the taxpayers of the city of Yakima.
The ordinance would charge contractors and utility companies more than $4 for every square foot and 3 feet around the excavated area. There's also a $100 administrative fee and an inspection fee of $60 an hour. All of the fees were negotiated with contractors over 6 months. The question is whether the next vote will make all that work be wasted time. In Yakima, Ada Chong, Action News.
Now, to get all sides, we did call Maureen Atkinson today to get an explanation for her vote. She told us she wouldn't be available to talk with us or answer our questions over the phone. Well, 2 families have filed the first lawsuit in connection with the deadly Oso mudslide. They claim that Snohomish County and the State Department of Natural Resources knew about the risk of a slide, but didn't do enough to let people know. The disaster in March is one of the deadliest in state history. It killed 43 people, and more lawsuits are expected. And sponsors hoping to reduce class sizes say they have the signatures needed to put the issue on the ballot. Initiative 1351 would lower class sizes for every grade at Washington's public schools. Supporters say the state has some of the largest average class sizes in the country. Shrinking those class sizes would likely cost billions, and the initiative doesn't address how to pay for it. Well, workers at Hanford are getting ready to enter one of the most dangerous rooms at the site. The Energy Department and a Hanford contractor released this video showing tools that employees will use to clean up the so-called McCluskey room. The room got its name from a 1976 explosion. It exposed employee Harold McCluskey to a massive dose of radiation. He earned the nickname Atomic Man because of it. The room has been mostly sealed off since then, and the workers say it looks like it.
A mess. It was bad. It just old, dilapidated, run down. Just looked like a war zone.
Now, the cleanup is part of the ongoing demolition of the former plutonium finishing plant. And Washington State Court of Appeals sided with Hanford in a lawsuit filed by a laid-off whistleblower. The court ruled that Walter Tomasitis failed to show that he lost wages when he was reassigned from the VIT plant. Tomasitis was once a manager there. He says he was fired as retaliation for raising safety concerns. He's expected to appeal to the state Supreme Court. And 4th of July plans are already in high gear. It's almost time for another Yakima Valley Parade, so we want you to join KIMA for the Toppenish Wild West Parade. It all starts Friday at 11 in the morning. KIMA is going to have a crew out there with you, so wave when you see us. We could end up putting you on TV. Well, coming up on news, a backpacker from South America is locked up in federal custody on the west side, all because he overstayed his welcome by half an hour. And as you get your grill ready for the holiday weekend, have you thought perhaps what George Washington and company were having to celebrate the very first July 4th? That and more still to come. You're watching KIMA Action News.
Shop at ChooseNissan.com.
Sleep Country's 4th of July sale isn't just ending Sunday, it's going out with a bang. Through Sunday at Sleep Country, save $300 on Beauty Rest and Posturepedic mattress sets. Plus, pay no interest for 36 months on Tempur-Pedic and Serta Eye Comfort. Big savings and free financing? These deals aren't just hot, they're explosive. Sleep Country's 4th of July sale ends Sunday.
next Dr. Phil. She lives at home.
My daughter is a moocher.
Has a boyfriend.
Is he staying in that room with you? Oh!
Next Dr. Phil.
How would you find the child in your room?
Dr. Phil, Thursday at 3 on KIMA. Breaking news, consumer disputes. Call KIMA Action News. 575 KIMA.
Good evening. Welcome back to KIMA Action News. Our forecast tonight calling for partly cloudy conditions. Forecast lows in the upper 50s to low 60s for most spots overnight. And then tomorrow, hey, we're back in the sunshine. Temperature-wise, a little bit cooler, or about where we were this afternoon, into the low 90s. But we do expect a lot more sunshine tomorrow and less in the way of the overcast, cloudy conditions that we saw this afternoon. Let's take Pacific satellite. We did have some clouds and some thunderstorms move through Oregon this afternoon. Most of these, though, have pushed well to the east of us here in Yakima as we continue with mainly just a few clouds overnight this evening. There is a slight chance that we still could see maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm along the east slopes of the Cascades, but it's really minimal. As you can see, most of the activity here across eastern Oregon and areas to the east of us. So really just a few clouds tonight. Tomorrow we'll get that westerly flow, southwesterly flow. We'll pull in a cooler, drier, more dense air mass, which will stabilize the atmosphere. So that'll keep out any thunderstorms in the forecast, but it'll also cool us off a couple degrees. Flip side of that is we get lots of sunshine tomorrow, and that sunshine is going to stick around for us into the 4th of July and into the long holiday weekend. We're really shaping up for a nice few days here in the Yakima Valley, and really for that matter across the Northwest. Things are looking good. Now our pollen levels in the medium category, grasses and nettle, the predominant pollen. Our UV index will be a level 10 out of 12, so it's going to be high. We'll keep that UV index high again on the 4th through the weekend, with temperatures hovering into the upper 80s to low 90s. Check out our weather photo of the day. This is courtesy of Virgil, and this is a Snake River sunset. Just gorgeous weather photo there off the Snake River. I'm not sure where exactly off of the Snake River that was, but it's a beautiful country there along the Snake River, and a nice weather photo. Thank you, Virgil, for that. Hey, Seattle and Portland tomorrow into the 70s with partly to mostly sunny skies, and they've seen a few clouds, but overall some spectacular weather headed for the west side tomorrow all the way to the coast into the 60s. Spokane tomorrow will be warm at 89 degrees, the forecast temperature there. Daytime highs up along the pass. Looks like 60s for Snoqualmie Pass, 81 for Cle Elum. Ellensburg tomorrow at 86 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Winds a little breezy out of the northwest at 10 to 15, but becoming heading into the weekend. All right, let's take a look at Thursday, and again tomorrow 91, 4th of July. We're looking at 89 degrees, the forecast high, and just gorgeous for the 4th of July. Winds will be light heading into the weekend. We're looking at temperatures in the low 90s, lows at 90 in the 60s, and then that continues through next week with temperatures into the 90s. So, since we hit July, we're just sticking with the 90s. Again, Friday maybe close to it at 89 degrees. That's a look at your forecast. Have a great night. Stay with us. More news and sports all coming up after the break.
Meet conservative Dan Newhouse, a Central Washington farmer and former state director of agriculture. Newhouse is running to make Washington, D.C. listen. That means fighting for a balanced budget amendment, repealing and replacing Obamacare, and protecting our gun rights. The federal government can't grow our crops, and it certainly shouldn't tell us how to our families. Dan Newhouse for Congress, the conservative leadership we need.
I'm Dan Newhouse, and I approve this message.
Where do you want to live? There's a style and neighborhood perfect for you. Let me show you.
I'm Penny from The Big Bang Theory, here to tell you that we're here 5 nights a week.
New neighbor?
Oh, hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi?
Actually, that's my work.
So you're like one of those beautiful mind genius guys.
Yeah. I have a board. If you like boards, this is my board.
Do you speak English?
Oh, he speaks English. I can't speak to women.
Why?
He's kind of a nerd. Juice box?
They're not the kind of guys I usually hang with.
You're a bit of an unconventional choice for our social circle as well.
Penny, you are on fire!
Yeah, so is Sheldon!
That's it. I don't know how, but she is cheating.
Wait, Sheldon, come back. You forgot something.
What?
This plasma grenade.
You laugh now. You just wait until you need tech support.
The Big Bang Theory, 5 nights a week.
Weeknights at 7 on KIMA.
Here's Chuck from Out of Sight.
Sorry.
Oh, check out that new look from Pepsi.
Today I feel a little bit different. Oh, I feel like I woke up this morning and I can change the world. I can change the world. I guess it's true.
Stop in to Ray's IGA and take advantage of big savings on assorted Pepsi products. 24-pack cans are $5.99 with coupon. Limit 2.
The following segment of Auto Matters is brought to you by Frank's Tire Factory.
And welcome back in. A backpacker from South America is locked in federal detention after reportedly overextending his stay by 30 minutes.
Yeah, Seattle immigration attorney has taken on his case for free, saying it's absurd.
Keith Aldridge is at the federal detention center in Tacoma with this story.
For 6 months, Diego Simonasi said he roamed freely about the United States, backpacking all over the country. But when his time was up June 14th and he tried to enter Canada to continue his trip, he didn't know he needed a visa to get through the border. Canadian authorities at the Peace Arch crossing turned him back to the U.S. side, but it was 30 minutes past midnight.
And I asked for help. What can I do if I can't come back to the United States? And without making a lot of questions, he just arrested me.
U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, seized Simonasi and transported him 145 miles south to the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, where he's been ever since.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's one of the problems that we have with our immigration laws.
Seattle immigration attorney Steve Tanijo was so incensed he agreed to take up Simonasi's case for free.
He's a backpacker. I used to backpack around the world as well, so I mean, I kind of relate.
Tanijo says ICE has offered to let Simonasi out on a $7,500 bond.
Which he has no money. I mean, he's a backpacker.
No, I don't have it. And to be honest, I don't think I have to pay it. I haven't done any crime, any illegal thing.
Or he can pay for a one-way flight back to Uruguay.
Which also he doesn't really want to do because he just wants to continue his travel.
Simonasi's done nothing that deserves this kind of treatment and is willing to sit in confinement until he can legally get on with his trip through North America.
Now, a hearing to lower the bond is 2 weeks away, but that just releases Diego until he gets his visa violation taken care of, so he can't leave the U.S. without violating the bond. The attorney is also trying to convince an immigration judge to dismiss the whole case, but no date for that has been set.
Moms, dads, listen up. Tonight, a warning from the FDA about the dangers of caffeine. Just days before high school graduation, an 18-year-old Ohio boy was found dead in his home, the coroner calling it a deadly overdose of pure caffeine. You can buy the stuff online, and it's not regulated by the FDA. Now, the recommended dose is 1/16 of a teaspoon, and you might be wondering just how little is that? Well, let me tell you, you don't even have a measuring spoon that's small enough to measure that. But it's what you'd find in about 3 Red Bulls. A teaspoon, a teeny teaspoon of caffeine, that's 50 Red Bulls. Doctors say ads about caffeine or energy drinks are all target your teen.
That's a time of your life where you want so desperately to feel good about yourself, to fit in, and you think that, hey, I'm getting something that's safe, I'm taking caffeine, and they just don't recognize that in these unregulated, unsafe doses, it can be so deadly.
The last reported caffeine overdose was a couple years ago. A 40-year-old ate too many caffeinated mints.
Now, more than 40 million people plan to hit the road this weekend. The cost of gas has hit a 6-year high. The price usually goes down this time of year. AAA, though, says the crisis in Iraq is pushing prices skyward. Washington is one of 4 states that already surpassed $4 a gallon. All right, let's get you ready for the holiday weekend, at least at the grill. We know there's a good chance you're going to be cranking that thing up and cooking hot dogs and hamburgers, maybe top it off with some all-American apple pie and ice cream.
Oh, yes, please. But marking our nation's independence didn't always revolve around the grill. Karen Cava looks at what our founding fathers ate to celebrate his birthday.
The Declaration of Independence didn't say anything about hot dogs and hamburgers. And
on the day the United States was born, there was likely a much different meal on the table for Americans like George Washington.
We can look up July 4th, 1776, and see that the headquarters staff had mutton, veal, roast beef, cabbages, peas, potatoes, beets, beans, and then from the fish market, they had blackfish and lobster.
Susan Scholwer is a curator at Washington's Mount Vernon estate in Virginia. Despite the differences, she says there are at least a few similarities between our summer menus and those of the founding fathers.
The 18th century British and American colonists basically liked anything that you could put in a crust and eat. And so we think particularly of cherry pies, and cherry would have been in season at that time of year.
Most of what was served was grown right here on the estate, which meant a lot of fresh vegetables with a meal, whatever was in season. But during his travels to the young nation's more cosmopolitan cities like New York and Philadelphia, Washington likely discovered something a little more refreshing: ice cream.
Usually flavoring it with something like strawberries or raspberries, some kind of fruit. You didn't really get chocolate or vanilla ice cream in the 18th century, but fruits. So I think that was another favorite.
And Washington likely would have sipped his favorite beverage, the fortified wine Madeira, with a meal. It was also preferred by Thomas Jefferson and other founding fathers who had reasons to raise a toast each July 4th.
Now, according to the National Sausage and Hot Dog Council, Americans are expected to consume 150 million hot dogs over the 4th of July holiday alone. That's part of the 7 billion hot dogs that get eaten the entire summer season from Memorial Day to late.
I'll do my best to keep it up there. Sports is coming up. Tonight, the Mariners are as hot as our sizzling temps. Those highlights and much more right after the timeout. You are watching Action News.
When the temperature starts to climb, it's summertime, and that means summertime driving. Put on your sunglasses and head over to Frank's Tire Factory. They will take care of you with a set of Goodyear, Hankook, Yokohama, Cooper tires, or Nokian tires, and you can save up to $80 in mail-in rebates. That's hot. Frank's Tire Factory, for the coolest of deals on summertime tires.
Celebrate the 4th of July with America's best and most trusted brand, Honda. Hondas are known for their legendary fuel economy, safety, and resale value. Visit your Eastern Washington Honda dealers through July 7th for clearance pricing on every new Honda, like 2014 Civic LX sedans, $159. Award-winning Accords, $199 a month. Or choose 0.9% financing on Civic, Accord, Pilot, and Odyssey. The more you compare, the more you know you want a Honda. Celebrate and save at your Eastern Washington Honda dealers.
What do you want your business to be? With Frontier Business Edge, you can be connected. Using our advanced data, voice, and video solutions. Be everywhere with Wi-Fi mobility and seamless cloud access to take your business with you. Be confident that you can move forward with our state-of-the-art network and 100% U.S.-based workforce behind you. Find out how your business can be successful. Frontier Business Edge. Contact our specialists. Call 1-888-FRONTIER today.
You know Grocery Outlet has unbeatable prices.
Save up to 60%.
Did you know about the organic selection and the premium wine?
Keeping it real with premium grapes.
Did you know about the products from all over the world?
From the West Coast to the West Coast to somewhere else.
And did you know select wines are just $3.99? Plus Hebrew National Franks only $2.99.
At Grocery Outlet, Bargain Market.
I like talking in this voice. I sound good.
The weather is always changing. There's only one way to know what's headed your way. Tracking the storm before it hits. Pinpoint radar. The Storm Trackers, only on KIMA Action News. Christy and Jay, weekday mornings on KIMA Action News.
Welcome back. Put away those brooms, Walla Walla. The lean, mean Pippin's Green Machine pumped up for Sweet's revenge. With the visitors wrapping hard early, J.J. Robinson taking aim at the right field wall. Not out of here, but enough of a mega blast to score Kevin Morgan tied. Staying that way, bottom two, Sean Wardia blistering the ball, but Sean Bouchard Start in the way with a shoestring snag to end Yakima Valley's rally. Top three, Sweet 2-out, Magic, muscle shot puts Walla Walla in front 2-1. Pippins deliver the equalizer. Reed Martinez splits the Sweets outfield. Come on home. Justin Jacobs. Home team comes from behind to beat the Sweets. So fun. The same two rivals will square off again tomorrow in Walla Walla. How about those amazing Mariners? For the second game in a row, the Astros keeping Seattle bottled up early. Check out that catch. But for the second game in a row, in frame 6, the M's go gangbusters again to blow up Houston, a wild pitch. And Logan Morrison driving in a couple. So the Mariners, behind great starting pitching by Chris Young, were on their way to sweeping. Seattle, 9 games over 500 for the first time since 2007. I'm guessing the M's will enjoy their day off tomorrow in Chicago before kicking off a set with the Sox on 4th of July, Friday. This is why the First Tee Yakima is so incredible. This is how easy it is to get your kids involved. Breakfast with the Pros, always a big hit in the community. The biggest annual fundraising event for First Tee. Always fun meeting our local professional athletes. But stealing the show this year, a young man who knocked our socks off with his incredible life story and the speech he gave. Tyler Endringa, a First Tee veteran, has faced physical challenges since birth. What an ambassador for the game. The Natchez High grad has been selected as a semifinalist for the Royal Bank of Scotland Achievers of the Year Award. Tyler's received a $3,000 scholarship and will attend the awards banquet in New York. When he announced top achiever, will be awarded another $15,000 scholarship. Tyler's dream achieved through First Tee Yakima. It's happening now at a course near you, and another session gets away soon. First Tee is all about teaching youngsters this great game and developing life skills that go along with it. Visit the local First Tee website for information on how to register for the upcoming sessions. Guaranteed your child will love it. And First Tee instruction will mark a major summer accomplishment for them and for you. The one bright spot about the U.S. out at the World Cup, 2 Sounders stars will soon be back in. Clint Dempsey and DeAndre Yedlin returning to the Rave Green just in time. First place, Seattle kicks off a big July this weekend against Vancouver, then 2 next week against rival Portland.
It's hard to kind of, express how crazy those games are. I mean, that's the games that you want to be in when, if you're a kid growing up and you want to play in the MLS, these are the games you want to play in, the Cascadia rivalry games. And so they live up to the expectations for sure, and we can definitely, anticipate some crazy games.
Seahawks are not only the team to beat, but the cry of the 12th man, the noise to beat. No stadium crowd in the world louder than the Crazies at the Clink, but just as every team will be gunning for the Hawks, every team's fans now think they can break Seattle's loud record. This coming weekend, down under, rowdy fans of an Australian rules football team will attempt to scream louder than the record-setting roar set last year by the 12th man. And that's it. I am out.
So right now you can get 4 lines and 10 gigs of data for just $140 a month.
Wow.
That's $20 less than Verizon and AT&T, and you get unlimited talk and text.
Mom, Dad, good news. We can each get our own line and save you money.
Or I could save a lot more money if you and your sister finally moved out.
But we're not going to do that, so why don't we just go with this plan?
Yeah.
Get 4 lines and 10 gigs for $140 a month, and we'll pay off your old contract. U.S. Cellular. Hello, better.
Hey, you like bacon?
I like bacon.
You'll want the DQ $5 lunch with a new bacon cheeseburger.
I like bacon.
A delicious hot-off-the-grill cheeseburger topped with crispy hickory smoked bacon.
Bacon.
Plus fries, drink, and a sundae.
I like sundaes.
All for just $5.
The unbeatable DQ $5 lunch, even better with the new bacon cheeseburger. Only at your DQ. This is fan food, not fast food.
Bacon.
What do you want your business to be? With Frontier Business Edge, you can be connected. Using our advanced data, voice, and video solutions. Be everywhere with Wi-Fi mobility and seamless cloud access to take your business with you. Be confident. You can move forward with our state-of-the-art network and 100% U.S.-based workforce behind you. Find out how your business can be successful. Frontier Business Edge. Contact our specialists. Call 1-888-FRONTIER today.
It's the 4th of July event at your local Ford dealer. Yeah, it's time to save big at your local Ford dealer right now. Save your hard-earned money on the Ford that's right for you. That's right.
Now lease an Escape or Fusion for just $169. That's just $169 a month to lease an Escape or Fusion.
It's the 4th of July event at your local Ford dealer.
Hurry in today. It all ends July 7th.
In Judge Judy's court,
you only have one chance to make a first impression.
One side of the story is never enough.
What are you, nuts?
One big mouth gets you in big trouble.
Trust me, you are done.
And one dumb question brings an answer that smarts.
You left out a... Stupid.
No wonder you've made her America's favorite judge.
I'm not just a pretty face.
There's only one Judge Judy.
This is my playpen.
Judge Judy, weekdays at 4 on KIMA.
Welcome back. And a prosthetic leg that washed ashore on the west side over the weekend has been returned to its rightful owner.
Michelle Esteban was there when the woman who lost the leg and also with the woman who found it met.
Oh, it was very pleasant. It was wonderful. She's a wonderful person.
Hannah Listall has likely never been so happy weeding.
She was very excited, ecstatic that I had found the leg. And
she's still riding the high from this morning when she reunited Poulsbo's Megan Smith with her lost prosthetic leg. Megan's sister saw a Facebook post and heard about the Sunday night Como News report featuring Hannah desperately seeking the leg's owner.
I cried. And then I laughed. And I was so jittery and so excited, I could not wait to get it back.
Hannah found the prosthetic Sunday morning along Kingston shoreline.
So we were trying to hit the low tide point so we can kind of beachcomb, see what we can find. And I saw a foot first.
The night before, Megan and her husband were swimming here.
I was about halfway to shore, and then that's when I realized my leg was gone.
Panic set in.
And I dove down into the water, and I couldn't find it. I looked and I looked.
Megan swims with her prosthetic all the time, and it's never come off. She says she couldn't afford a new one. Her backup is used only for running. It's not as comfortable or meant for daily use.
It's like getting your leg back. And it's what I use every day. I feel good. I think it's really great. You know, hearing her story about the leg and everything like that, it was really, you know, it was very heartwarming to know that I was able to get it back to her.
Megan got her leg and her life back, and that's not all. They both made a new friend.
That's a great story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, Michael, we're there. We're getting there. We're not there yet, but we're getting there.
We
are close. Yeah, can you believe it's still at 80 degrees in Yakima, 84 in Pasco?
I believe it, yeah.
Tomorrow, back in the sunshine, clouds move out, and maybe a touch cooler into the low 90s, but still hot, and that'll continue right through the 4th of July weekend.
All right. Good deal. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care.
Good night.
Yakima Neighborhood Health Services, your healthcare home in Yakima and Sunnyside.
We've created a culture focused on the overall wellness of the patient, medical, social, developmental. Patients are able to get what they need in a timely manner. Making appointments, having questions answered, accessing their patient information.
Call today to make Yakima Neighborhood Health Services your family's healthcare home.
Our stories have never been more amazing.
It's absolutely devastating. I've never heard more like that before.
Our videos have never created more buzz.
Now a story people are talking about.
Our reporting has never impacted more people.
This is what it has come down to.
In more ways.
This wasn't just any treadmill.
For a daily roller coaster ride of the unpredictable.
That was just incredible.
Inside Edition, America's news magazine.
Weeknights at 6:30 on KIMA.
Academy Award winner Halle Berry, Extant, next Wednesday, 9/8.